The Winston Cup Series returns home to Daytona for the postponed Pepsi 400 qualifying as the celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary continues.
Just like the ancient marriage between the ocean and Daytona Beach, NASCAR racing is a proud part of Florida's past. On the sandy shores along the Atlantic or inland at a 2.5-mile enclosed track, loyal fans showed their love of stock car racing. In February, a glimpse of the future, the man in black, illuminated in the darkness of the Daytona night. But history had to wait for tragedy. Wildfires forced thousands from their homes. Racing, willingly, was put on hold. Now, 3.5 months later, the fireworks are about to begin. Just a few short miles from the shores of the Atlantic, the Daytona International Speedway sits calm and quiet, glowing in a sea of light. Perhaps there has been a bigger night in NASCAR history. Certainly, there's never been a brighter one. Tonight, 49 drivers, 2 laps, 1 pole sitter on a historic evening in Daytona. It is an emotional and, pardon the pun, electrically charged atmosphere here at the Daytona International Speedway. Saturday night, this 2.5-mile oval will challenge man, machine, and Mother Nature as 43 drivers streak through a path in the darkness lit by what amounts to 87,000 passenger cars with their high beams on. That's never been done before. Here's something that has been done before in practice at a restrictor plate track. Bobby and Terry Labonte are the 2 fastest guys in practice. With more, here's my pit road colleague, Ray Dunlap.
Well, thanks, Bill. You know, an awful lot of these teams are utilizing the exact same race cars that they ran just 4 short days ago at the Talladega Superspeedway. You better believe that Dale Jarrett brought back his same race car. It's a $1 million winner. But for Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt, they've decided they needed a different car, one that has just a little bit more downforce. That helps you run good at the end of the race here at Daytona. And one other difference between Daytona and Talladega is the fact that at Talladega, if you win the pole, you've got a really good shot at winning the race. But here at Daytona, it doesn't seem to be quite as big of a deal. As a matter of fact, the last guy to win the pole and the race was Bill Elliott, and that was all the way back in 1987. So evidently winning the pole here at Daytona tonight's not a big deal, right? Well, I bet if you ask all these folks in the grandstand, they'll tell you different.
Yeah, there are just 4 races to go in the 1998 NASCAR Winston Cup season, and everybody's thinking about the championship and if they can move up a position or 2 before the checkered flag drops at Atlanta. But maybe for the next couple of hours, they're thinking about something else than the championship.
Yeah, folks, we all want to be part of something special, and this tonight is special. Look at the crowd we hear for Thursday night qualifying in Daytona. Some of these fellows have been coming to Daytona since the late 40s. Richard Petty since the late 40s. They've never seen anything like this. Daytona lit up at night. It is electrifying, as Bill Weber said.
After a delay of a little more than 3 months, ESPN Speed World is finally here at Daytona for mud pole qualifying for the Pepsi 400, which will be run under the lights on Saturday night. And isn't it appropriate that the driver who drew the #1 qualifying position is Dale Earnhardt, who, of course, had the unbelievable Daytona 500 in February and was the first to test this track at night.
And look out, again, if you watched Talladega qualifying last week, this is very, very similar. You'll see the rear of these cars and Earnhardt bottoming out. See the sparks? Look at the sparks from the back of that car. That has got to be upsetting the car and slowing the car down just a little bit, because he's probably picked up a little speed from practice, and that's sinking the back a little bit more, and that's why the car is bottoming out.
The procedure is the same as it was at Talladega. They get 2 laps because this is a restrictor plate track, and really the first lap they're not up to speed yet. Now that first lap for Dale Earnhardt was 47.277 to 190.367. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jeff Gordon, you ever seen anything like this here at Daytona?
It's pretty cool, you know, pretty cool. I tell you, they did a great job on these lights, and fans are going to see a lot of sparks tonight, that's for sure.
Absolutely, guys. He's got a boatload of trophies back at home, but I'll bet you a Pepsi 400 pole trophy would be a pretty nice one.
Dale Earnhardt has won the pole here at Daytona 3 times, most recently for the 500 in 1996. Here he comes down for the checkered flag and the conclusion of our first qualifying run of the evening. And the second lap, BP, is a little bit better.
Yes, second lap in the 46-second range. 928. Yes, 191.783 miles per hour. That's about a quarter of a second faster than he ran in practice this afternoon. Good lap for Earnhardt. I don't think he'll stick up for the pole, but it is a great lap.
Bobby Labonte was the fastest in practice that was concluded here earlier, 192.629. Rather appropriate also that the second car on the track is the famous number 43. Of course, it's no longer driven by Richard Petty. It's owned by him. And the pilot is John Andretti, who is the defending champion of the Pepsi 400.
And folks, these two cars that qualified first and second were drawn out of a hat. They were not chosen to go first and second. They were chosen out of a hat to go first and second. Second car is out. The STP Pontiac, John Andretti.
John's only win in NASCAR Winston Cup competition was here at this 2.5-mile tri-oval. His best start was a third back in July of 1997.
Well, look at those rear tires and how they're stuck up in that quarter panel as they're going down the backstretch, and the back end is sunk down so much. Look at that tire all the way up in that quarter panel. What they're trying to do, the spoiler has to maintain a 45-degree angle. That slows the cars down dramatically. So by getting the car down in the back, they're therefore taking the spoiler out of the air and letting the cars run just a little bit faster. Here comes Andretti to complete that first lap.
Now, are these cars bottoming out more than they usually do, and we're seeing it only because it's night, or is this something that is a little different than usual?
I think that we're just seeing it at night. I think they do it all the time, but we're really seeing it tonight.
First lap for John Andretti is a 47.283, a 190.343. During the practice, he turned a 190.279, so he has actually bettered the effort that he had in practice, which turned out to be the 15th fastest overall.
And we can see that he was just 1/100 of a second slower than Earnhardt on that first lap. Can he pick up as much as Dale Earnhardt? That's the question. Earnhardt picked up about 1/3 of a second. Can Andretti do the same thing? We'll know in a couple of seconds.
When he won the Pepsi 400 last year, he began from third position. Well, his second lap is better than the first, but still not as good as Dale Earnhardt turned in.
Certainly, he did not pick up that 1/3 of a second like Earnhardt did. He only picked up about 1/10 to 47.143, average speed 190.909. Earnhardt is with Bill Weber.
46.92. Is that okay?
That's pretty good, but I'm not sure whether that's going to stand up or not. I mean, Terry run a 75, and that's better than we'd practiced. That's faster, but still, you know, maybe the air will get heavy, this duel or whatever we're laying here. It's windy right now, and that may have hurt us down the back straightaway, but it's keeping the moisture out there too. So pretty awesome. The way we drove these cars around here with dragging the racetrack is one and two is just a bear to drive, and 3 and 4 is not too awful bad, but 1 and 2 is just awful to drive through there, bottoming out and up and down the racetrack is jumping all over the place. It's pretty tough.
We could see the sparks coming from your car, and that does upset the car, obviously.
Well, it does. You got to get down on that racetrack to go fast.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's Dale Earnhardt, provisional pole sitter, but it's very early.
It is indeed. Here's our third qualifier of the evening, Sterling Marlin. Now, there are 3 drivers who have each posted 6 restrictor plate poles, the most of all drivers. One of them is Dale Earnhardt. The other is Ernie Irvan, who, by the way, will not be qualifying here this weekend because of the injury suffered at Talladega last week. And the third is Sterling Marlin.
And I think that Sterling Marlin, he went through 1 and 2 a little bit high. Maybe that's his groove, or maybe he's just trying to throw away this first lap, trying to get this car up to speed. And once again, they do run 2 laps here at Daytona International Speedway, just like Talladega, because these cars will not get up to speed in simply 1 lap. Believe it or not, folks, it takes more than 5 miles to get up to top speed with the restrictor plates in these cars.
Sterling Marlin, a 3-time pole sitter here at Daytona, most recently in July of 1992. First lap is 47.346, a 190.090. So at the moment, he is third quick.
And he did throw away that first lap because this time through 1 and 2, he ran much lower on the racetrack, which obviously is a shorter distance around the racetrack. And we see again down in 3 and 4, right on that white line. One of the drivers mentioned today a concern about at night, would he be able to see that white line at the bottom of the racetrack? And I don't think there's any problem at all with seeing that line and making sure that they don't go down and touch the apron with the left front, because that de-wedges the car and sometimes can spin them out.
It is an unbelievable sight here as this track is so well lighted. 2.5 miles. They've done a great job. Sterling Marlin's best lap was his second, 47.170, a 190.799. So he's third. The provisional pole sitter after 3 qualifiers is Dale Earnhardt.
America Online introduces new version 4.0.
It can't get any.
ESPN Speed World coverage of Bud Pole qualifying from Daytona for the Pepsi 400 being brought to you by America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. On the track is Kenny Irwin Jr., who has just completed his qualifying run. First lap was 47.266, a 190.412. Second lap was a little bit better.
Sure was. Moves him to the outside pole at 47.072. 191.196. So Irwin, the Texaco Havoline car, goes to the outside pole alongside Earnhardt. And there you see his time.
Down to Bill Weber.
With John Andretti, 47.143. Your thoughts on your lap?
Well, last 2 numbers of the time are good, 43, but I don't know. We're hoping for somewhere in the teens, and I mean, we're happy with that, and hopefully we get to start somewhere.
How's your you're going to get to start somewhere. How's your vision out there?
It's good. You know, I don't know about the track, but my vision's pretty good out there. No, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to run out there. It's going to be interesting when you get the shadows between the cars and things, how it's going to be like drafting, but it's the same for everybody. But it's a lot like day out there, and it's a lot cooler, so that's good.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Jeff Gordon on the racetrack, and Jeff has 25 top 10 qualifying efforts, including 7 Bud Poles this season. Both marks are the most of all drivers. His 26th starting position at Charlotte was the only time he didn't qualify in the first round.
And you know what? He is throwing away this first lap. The first time we've seen the 24 car this year, he's throwing away this first lap for that second lap. It must be going to be a good one. Ray Dunlap.
Well, BP, I've caught up with Michael Waltrip, and last week you started 34th, but you got all the way up to 9th, so that must mean qualifying's not a big deal, right?
Well, it makes for... You're still excited when you qualify 34th that you can run up front, and that's what we did last week, and that's what we did here in February. We qualified 33rd overall, ran second to 125 and 9th in the 500. So we've got our race deal figured out, but man, it isn't a lack of effort. They do so much stuff to this car, and we just can't go anywhere to qualify. We'll be 34th or 5th, I'm afraid, again tonight, and that's not going to dampen my enthusiasm. We would have been better than 9th last Sunday, got in a wreck. I'll have the 6 go forward up front before the night's over Saturday night, and that's an exciting feeling. A lot of people doesn't like the stricter plate races, but I don't run good. Hadn't run good anywhere else lately, so I love them. I'm looking forward to my chance to be in the front when they throw a checker.
All right, have fun out there. Michael Waltrip goes out in 2 more cars, but right now it's the 24 we got our eye on.
And he ran high down in 1 and 2. He ran low in 3 and 4, but I think that's going to hurt his lap. Let's see if the car was too loose or something. Maybe at a bump going in the corner. He moves to the outside pole, 47.003. Outside pole at 191.477 miles per hour. So it hurt him a little bit, but obviously not enough to get him back out of the top 10. I think that will easily be in the top 10 before it's all over with.
He needs to finish 16th or better in the next 4 races, the remaining races of the 98 schedule, to win his 3rd NASCAR Winston Cup.
And how many holes how many top 5s in a row does he have? About 16 or 17? Didn't that set a record at Talladega last week?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's no wonder that he is on the way to a championship.
Now, this is really strange. Here's Kenny Schrader in the Skoll Chevrolet Monte Carlo, the pole sitter last week at Talladega, racetrack very similar to this, and they came here for this qualifying for this and was 30. They were 35th fastest in the first practice in the other practice Wednesday. 35th fastest. But I talked to the team, and they brought a different car here. Bob, you'd think that they would have brought a car that sit on the pole, but they feel like that the car is going to race better, and that's what they're concerned about, is running the 400 miles, not 1 or 2 laps in qualifying. And look how high he went.
Yeah, he's up there at the top of the track also in 1 and 2. Schrader has posted 10 top 10 finishes in the last 12 races here at Daytona. Best finish was second in February of 1989. Let's see what that first lap is. Look at that car bounce through the corners.
Oh, I talked to those guys down there. They said, ask them, what's it like driving these cars? Now, folks, just think about this. One driver told me this. Think about this. Driving a bulldozer across the field at 190 miles an hour.
Pretty rough ride, I would say.
Can you imagine?
First lap, 47.554, 189.259, and he is the slowest so far, so Schrader needs to pick it up here. Bill, meanwhile, is with Kenny Irwin, who did well, 3rd quick so far.
You are currently 3rd fastest. How were your laps?
It was good. Actually, our car was better in qualifying than it was in the practice this morning, and so the guys actually made it more drivable and faster, so they did a good job.
How is the track? Did you bottom out at all on your laps?
Very little. In fact, this is probably the least amount since I started coming to these tracks that we ever have, and so that just shows that the guys are getting better at it and going faster too, because usually the car gets up so high and then it won't go through the air good. So they got it down, no bottoming out, and not a bad lap.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Good luck. Schrader, 5th.
Yeah, moved up 1 position from his first lap. He's now 5th quick. Second lap, 47.148, a 190.888. 6 have qualified here for the Pepsi 400 at Daytona International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon are the fastest 2 qualifiers so far, but a lot more to go.
All the excitement, all the action of NASCAR racing comes right to your home.
We welcome you back to Daytona as we are qualifying for the Pepsi 400 on Saturday night. There's kart racing this weekend also Sunday night on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern Time. The Grand Prix of Australia as the Kart FedEx Championship Series pays its annual visit to one of the most beautiful places in the entire world, Surfer's Paradise. The race through the streets there is always exciting. It's at 8:30 Eastern Sunday night on ESPN. Johnny Benson is on the track. He's completed 1 lap.
And Benson is in a little bit of trouble. 48.297. He's 1 full second behind the other cars. Man, got to pick it up, Johnny, somehow, some way. Bill Weber, Gordon picked it up, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did, but you throw away that first lap?
I guess kind of, yeah. You know, we went with a different gear. I need to get that thing wound up. Plus, I don't like those bumps down the bottom. I can only handle that for 1 lap. So, you know, I tried to get it down there on the 2nd lap. 1 and 2, I'm having a heck of a time getting through there. But 3 and 4, I'm getting through there real good. And the car drove a lot better than it did at practice. I kind of wish we had actually done a few more things. I think we could have picked up a little bit more speed, but we got a little nervous at practice. Car got away from me, almost got away from me a couple times, so we wanted to play a little more safe, and safe worked, and that's a good time. Guys did a great job.
4 to go, big hurdle for you here Saturday night.
Well, it can be, you know, but you know, we just gotta just play it the way we did in Talladega. Run as hard as we can, try to get up front, stay up front. You know, this is one place where handling really comes in to effect a little bit more. You can't get 4 wide. You can get 3 wide, but I don't suggest it. So side by side's, you know, going to happen more than what we saw. You know, Talladega, you're not going to see the 3 or 4 wide like we saw there. So I love coming to Daytona. I can't wait to get the race set up in there so we can start feeling comfortable.
Okay, we'll be watching.
All right, thank you.
That's Jeff Gordon, the Winston Cup points leader, Michael Waltrip on the track.
Well, I wanted to hear from Billy Idle. He wasn't available, so I guess we'll talk to Jeremy Mayfield. That's a pretty nice looking do you got there.
Man, I appreciate it. It's been a long time coming. I should have done it earlier, and hopefully that would turn my luck around, but we'll have to see tonight. Worked last week, maybe work this week.
Finished 5th at Talladega, 3rd when you were here back in February. Got a pretty good race car for tonight?
I think got a great race car. You know, we might not qualify that good. We feel like it's about top 15 or something, but I feel like got a great race car. It's one we ran here in February and finished 3rd with, and racing real good.
We know the championship's still on the line, but also some other points positions. Jeremy Mayfield's just 45 points behind the number 99 car.
Yeah, there are a lot of positions back throughout the top 40, really, that can change drastically between now and Atlanta. Here's Michael Waltrip's first lap. It's 7th quick, a 47.945, 187.715. It was announced quite some time ago that Michael Waltrip would be leaving the Wood Brothers at the end of the 1998 season. Here at Daytona, they are the winningest car owners with 12 victories. Petty Engineering just one behind, and then there are 3 teams that are third with 5. Michael Waltrip moves to the number 7 car in 99.
That's right. The Matei Motorsports Phillips Electronics Ford Taurus. He'll be driving in 1992, 1999. Where my head is tonight. But Michael, once again, this is the same car he used at Talladega. They had some sheet metal damage. They took the car back to Stuart, Virginia, and put the new sheet metal on the entire left side, deck lid, I think a tail section. There we see qualifying 47.488, 189.522. And just like Talladega, the car did not run well at qualifying at Talladega. It's not running well here, but at Talladega, he was able to get to the front.
I think we could very definitely call this guy a potential pole sitter because he has been fast, Ray.
That's absolutely right, Bob, and we're talking about Bobby Labonte down here. 46.722 is what you ran in practice. Can you back that up?
Yeah, I don't know. The wind might have picked up a little bit. It's hard to tell. And it's nighttime. We've never run a lap at night here, so I don't know. We didn't come test or anything like that. It's the same car we had February, April, last week, and this week. So it's a good little race car. We'll just have to see what happens, but you never know until you get out there on the racetrack.
Daytona at night. Did you ever think we'd see that?
Not at the racetrack.
Pretty cool, guys. He's getting ready to go out and run a qualifying lap. Let's go to Bill Weber.
With Ken Schrader off the disappointment of last week, good qualifying run for you?
Yeah, we'll have to see where it stays up. You know, when they tell you you're 5th and you think I was the 6th car to qualify, you know, that's not real good. A lot of good cars were in front of us. We brought a different car. This is our old dependable car. Ran in all 4 plate races last year, run 4th with it in the 500 this year. Last week we had a little rocket ship for qualifying, but didn't run the race as good as we wanted to. So we drug this one out and blew it off, and we're ready to go.
All right, good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Ricky Rudd is on the racetrack, and he, of course, extended his streak of winning at least one race in a season to 16 this year when he took the checkered flag at Martinsville, becoming the 10th different winner of the 98 season. And with that win, for the first time in modern NASCAR Winston Cup history, there was a different winner in every single short track race in 98.
And we see Ricky Rudd once again struggling trying to get around this Daytona International Speedway. First lap 47.844, 188.111. He will pick it up some on the second lap, but certainly not enough to get up there with Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon on that front row. All we can hope to pick up between the first and second lap is about a 1/3 of a second. Anything more than that, then the driver, they've really got some kind of weird gear ratio or in the back of the car that it takes at least 5 miles to get the car up to top speed. Or the driver, like Dick Trickle, when he qualifies, will probably run awfully high both laps and throw away that first lap, hoping for a good second lap. Here comes Rudd on that second lap.
Just a little faster.
Yeah, he only picked up about a 1/10 of a second. 47.757, 188.454. That's good enough for 8th spot.
Of the 9 that have qualified so far, Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon still are the fastest 2. When we come back, we'll talk to Mark Martin just before his qualifying run here at Daytona.
So, you finally made it. You got in when they were all getting out. You held when they sold, and then you sold when they held.
We're back at Daytona as ESPN Speed World has live coverage of Bud Pole qualifying for the Pepsi 400 coming up Saturday night here at Daytona. Kenny Wallace is on the racetrack, and his first lap was a bit off the pace.
Yes, it was. First lap 48.596, 185.200. Yes, that is. You see the top 10 cars have qualified, and you see just how much slower Kenny Wallace is than the front row of 191 miles per hour. And I don't think the front row, I don't think those speeds will stand up. I think we're going to have to see something, maybe 193 for pole here this afternoon.
Okay.
This evening.
Well, Kenny was 47th out of the 48 that practiced, and he ran 186.5, so we'll see what lap number 2 gets for him. Just a little bit better than that, but still only 10th quick at 48.158, 186.885 for Kenny Wallace. 10 cars have now qualified. Let's talk to Mark Martin, Ray.
Well, he's talking it over down here with Sean Parker and Jimmy Fenning, just kind of talking about how the racetrack is. Mark, you got a brand new car here tonight. How's it going to do?
Well, it's doing real well. We didn't test and was really nervous about it, but the Valvoline team's done a great job with it, and I guess we got kind of lucky. We're inside the top 10 in practice and hope to qualify. You know, anything inside the top 20 would be real good for us. We'd be happy with it.
Some of these guys are throwing away their first lap to get momentum. Is that going to be your strategy, or you try to get 2 good laps?
Why you got to ask that?
He doesn't want to give away his secret, guys. We'll just keep our eye on him, see what he does.
All right, on the racetrack right now is Jeff Green, who has never competed in a NASCAR Winston Cup race here in Daytona.
Well, how about that? So this could be the first time, because he was 21st fastest in the one practice we had this afternoon in a 47.45, and I think that if he can pick it up a little bit, get around 47.15, 47.20, he will certainly be in the Daytona, the Pepsi 400 here Saturday night.
Last week at Talladega, he started 30th, finished in 33rd position. His best start of 1998 came at the Brickyard 400, where he lined up on the inside of row number 3. Here he comes off the banking of turn number 4 into the tri-oval in front of this incredible crowd that has gathered here tonight to see history made and the first qualifying session under the lights at Daytona. First lap for Jeff Green is 9th fastest.
Yeah, 47.761, 188.438. Much slower than he practiced. If he's got to pick up a third of a second just to get down to his practice speed. So it could be that in practice he was out there with other cars and got just a little bit of a hint of draft, which helped his speed. Or maybe they made some adjustments for qualifying that actually slowed the car down. This is the Money Store Chevrolet Monte Carlo, a teammate to Sterling Marlin, who's up there in 6th spot.
Jeff has competed in 18 races in the series so far in 1998. His best finish was at New Hampshire International Speedway, where he came home 12th. Here's a checkered flag, and Jeff Green becomes our 11th qualifier of the evening. And let's see if he picked up a little bit, just a little.
Well, he picked up 0.2 of a second, down to 47.565, 189.215, and currently he's 8th out of 11 cars that have qualified.
We'll have more qualifying in just a moment from Daytona. Among those coming up, Jeremy Mayfield. Stand by for his qualifying effort here at Daytona. Back in just a moment. Usual shots here tonight at Daytona. This one's rather eerie as the spectators are silhouetted against the brightly lit Daytona International Speedway as we are underway with qualifying. Well, with Scooby-Doo on the hood and Velma on the rear quarter panel and Jerry Nadeau in the cockpit, he turns in the 9th best speed.
At 47.568, 189.203 miles per hour. And yes, sir, Scooby-Doo. I'd be scared, too, if I had to ride along with Jerry Nadeau. All these bumping around with those shocks on the back of these cars, holding that back down, the car jumping around.
And Jeremy Mayfield goes on to the Daytona International Speedway.
I didn't mean, did it sound like I meant Jerry Nadeau was a bad driver? I didn't mean that at all.
No, I didn't mean that.
Very good driver, as a matter of fact. But jumping around on the racetrack like these cars do, it's no wonder Scooby was scared.
Jeremy had a good run last Sunday at Talladega, driving from 24th starting position to 5th finishing spot. Jeff Burton and Ted Musgrave, former teammates, are conversing and discussing driving the racetrack tonight as Jeremy Mayfield comes down and gets ready to go on his first lap of qualifying.
Don't see a lot of sparks out of Jeremy Mayfield's car. We saw the exhaust pipe bottom just a little bit as it went down in turn 1, but you can see just how rigid this car is.
Jeremy comes into this race 6th in the point standings, and he and John Andretti are the only drivers among the current top 10 who were not in the final top 10 in the 97 point standings. The two that are missing are Ken Schrader and Bill Elliott. Are bottoming out rather badly there in turn 4 as he comes off the corner and onto the tri-oval.
Yes, much worse than 3 and 4. They're down to 1 and 2. We'll get an indication what kind of car that Mayfield has for qualifying tonight as he crosses the start-finish line. And the first lap will take him down to 10th. 47.705, 188.659. And if he can pick up a third of a second, he's still going to be back about 6 or 7, probably about 7. So got his work cut up for him here this weekend to try to find some speed tomorrow.
Hooray for the over 50 set. Here's a guy who had a career weekend last weekend, Dave Marcus.
He sure did, Bob. Dave, there was an awful lot of fans up in the grandstands rooting you on last week. Great 12th place finish. You got a good car this weekend?
Well, it's the same car. You know, we just went home and repaired it, and it's the same car. We have the Richard Childress engine in, same one we qualified with at Talladega. They're bringing us a fresh one for the race, so we hope so. You know, we had a good run down there, and I really appreciate all the fans pulling for us.
You know, if you keep all the fenders on that race car, they go a lot faster.
Yeah, I know, but, you know, when that deal happened, I think it was like 40-some laps left, so I've worked extra hard on the restart to stay with the good pack, and in amongst the cars and cars behind me, the car didn't seem to know it didn't have a fender. But as we ran, you know, after 20 laps or so, and they kind of shook me out of that pack a little bit, and no one was behind me, and then I kind of started losing the pack. But again, there was only like 20 laps left, so I was able to hang on the lead lap and not get lapped.
Well, good luck out there tonight, guys. There's a great number in the history books. Richard Petty ran 1,177 races. If Dave Marcus makes it this weekend, it'll be his 844th Winston Cup start.
Mike Skinner is on the racetrack. He won the pole position for both races here at Daytona last year, and he led the most laps last Sunday at the Winston 500, becoming the 13th driver to lead the most laps in a race in 98.
And is a teammate to Dale Earnhardt, who right now is on the pole at 191.783 miles per hour. So, but Earnhardt ran very low down in 1 and 2 and ran through those bumps on the first lap. Right now, Skinner chose not to do that in turns 1 and 2. Maybe he's throwing away the first lap and trying to really get up to speed.
He was 10th fastest in the practice. 190.613 was his best lap.
Yes, he's throwing away this lap, trying to get set up for that last lap, trying to get this car up to all the speed he can find out of it. Now, car should be at maximum speed as he comes by, takes the white flag. There's one more lap. Ooh, drove down on the apron that time.
First lap isn't too bad.
Yes, 47.303, 190.263. Good enough for 7. See how low he is now, Bob? This is the lap he's been trying to work for. And he needs to pick up about 0.4 of a second to beat Earnhardt. And that's not inconceivable. We've seen Dick Trickle pick up, I think, as much as 0.6 from one lap to the next, from the first or second lap.
In last year's Pepsi 400, he did start on the pole, but finished in 41st position. And in the Daytona 500 in February, he started 8th and finished in 8th. There's a checkered flag for Mike Skinner, and we'll see how much he picked it up.
It'll be much better. I think it'll be much, much better, but he's going to no. Inside the second row to third spot, 47.008, 191.457.
So he does move to the inside of row number 2, but the front row at the moment remains the same. It's Earnhardt and Gordon with 14 cars qualified for the Pepsi 400.
Now, the ultimate in extreme crash.
Tonight in ESPN Speed World is at Daytona for qualifying, and later tonight, coming up at 10 o'clock or after our coverage of qualifying, it's ESPN2's Fire on Ice as the NHL season is young. This should be a great game. It's in Phoenix. It's the Colorado Avalanche against the Coyotes. Again, that's at 10 o'clock Eastern time or at the conclusion of our coverage of qualifying. Robert Presley is the next to be on the racetrack, and his first lap was 48.806, a 184.404, and that is the slowest so far of the 15.
Once again, he threw away that lap, but still, he's not going to pick up a second, 2 seconds, and that's what he needs to pick up. If he pick up 4 or 5 tenths, it's not going to be up 1 spot or so, but I think Preston's going to be struggling with his Ford Taurus. You remember last week at Talladega, he had a Thunderbird. But here he brought his Taurus this weekend, and he did not pick it up. He actually slowed down. It's the first car we've seen to do that.
183.948. So the first lap, 184.404 was the best. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
With Mike Skinner, who's explaining his lap. What did you do?
I caught the apron right there. You know, on the first lap, I tried to run the thing high and do a Kenny Schrader lap. And I wanted to be running downhill when I took the green, and I tried to make the racetrack a little shorter than it was, and I hooked the left front tire on that apron, and the car went sideways right there. You know, you're trying to keep everything straight, and the car wiggled 2 or 3 times, and it probably cost us a little bit. You know, we might could have picked up a couple hundredths.
You thought you could have been at the top of that pole, didn't you?
Well, I was what we were hoping for. I didn't know, you know, I wanted to be in the 46s.
Well, off the great run last week, good luck here on Saturday night.
Thank you much. You know, I think our low Chevrolet will race real good. Same car we had last week. I don't guess it matters where you start. Hopefully we can finish a little better. Thank you.
And Bobby Labonte on the racetrack.
And this, folks, this Pontiac, Interstate Batteries Pontiac, was the fastest car in practice. Over 192 miles per hour in practice. Earnhardt speed was 191.783. That's the time he's got to beat.
This would not be a good time to go to the refrigerator, because this could be the pole-winning effort here tonight. Bobby has posted 18 top 10 qualifying efforts, including 2 of the 3 restrictor plate Bud poles. He's about to complete lap number 1. Bobby Labonte. We'll get an indication here of how well he's going to run in just a couple of seconds.
He's going to run.
Yes. Come on.
Don't tell me the clock malfunction.
A little slow coming in here. We still don't have it. There it is. Oh, my goodness. No wonder it was slow coming in.
The transponder, the computer couldn't believe it. So I must have made a mistake. 46.774, 192.415 on his first lap. And he has another one. Timmy Makar, call him. Tell him he ran fast.
He ran a 192.629 in the practice. Bobby Labonte is on the provisional pole for Saturday night's Pepsi 400 after the first lap. And how much did he pick it up on lap number 2?
Once again, he went by the, I think he went by the, oh my goodness, 193.611, 46.485 miles per hour. Bobby Labonte, slow down, wait for the rest of them.
He has thrown down the gauntlet and given everybody else the numbers to shoot for. 193.611. Ray?
Well, Bob, you may have noticed we got some brand new shirts on ESPN here, and this is officially Wildberry. At least that's what Ricky Craven told me. Ricky, you filling in for Ernie Urban tonight. How's your race car?
It's okay. You know, it'd be nice to have the 6 days you have in January testing. It's a new car, but glad I could help out Ernie, and he may feel 100% in the morning, or it may be a few more days, but he's playing it cool.
Bobby Labonte just set an awfully high bar for you guys.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, and they've been fast with the restrictor plate program for a couple of years, and it's a little bit of black magic. You know, it's unique, and once you got it figured out, you want to hold on to it. They obviously do.
Any idea what you're doing for 99?
I'm working hard. You know, I'm having some fun here with Skittles, and these are a great bunch of guys, but the majority of my effort's been put towards 1999, and really appreciate the fans and everybody that stuck with us. And it's fun. You know, I come back here and I just realize how much I miss it, but I don't want to jump around. I want to work on 99 and get a good program and have fun again.
We'll go out there and have fun in that number 36 car. That's Ricky Craven. He's filling in for Ernie, who got hurt last week at Talladega.
Good to see Ricky back in a race car. Here's Mark Martin completing lap number 1. He's posted 21 top 10 qualifying efforts, including 2 Bud poles this season. First lap, 9th quick.
47.253, 190.464. If he can pick up 1/4 of a second. 1/4 of a second. That would move him to third, because Jeff Gordon ran 47.003. 1/4 second with Mark Martin would tie might actually move him to 4th spot. But he needs to pick up more than a quarter of a second and move past Jeff Gordon. Can he do it?
The unfortunate incident last week involving Mark Martin and others and Ernie Irvin dropped him 288 points behind Jeff Gordon in the point standings. Here's Mark Martin's second lap. Oh, it's a good one.
He did it. 46, 957, 191.665 inside the 3rd row, and the crowd loved that. And Jack Rouse said, wow, where'd he find that speed?
Bill Weber, meanwhile, is with Bobby Labonte. He's the best so far.
Yeah, he's playing it cool, too, but that was very impressive.
Man, that was a lot quicker than I thought it'd go, but it just kind of goes to show you that the race car is really fast. My job right then was, you know, just pointing in the right direction. It didn't drive very good, but tonight's not really for driving good. Tomorrow night and the next night will be for practice in the race, but it was fast, you know, and, you know, I don't know if that'll hold up or not, but, you know, if it does, it does. If it doesn't, you're still going to get a good starting spot. So, you know, my hat's off to the guys. They really worked hard. Same car we had all year long in all 4 restrictor plate races. So we can knock on wood if we can get through tomorrow night and practice at a race Saturday night. Hopefully it'll be real good.
They told you on your second lap what your first lap was?
Yeah, when I came by, they told me what it was, and I was, you know, looking for a good lap, but that was pretty sharp. So these guys again did a great job. My hat's off to them. Everybody at the shop, you know, they worked real hard on this car over the last winter, and kept it going throughout the summer, and kept tuning on a little bit and touch it a little bit every now and then. So just a good race car with you know, at least I get to drive it. That's all. I'm just glad I get to drive it.
All right. Well, good luck driving it Saturday night.
Okay, thanks.
Bob, here's a guy that's really going for it. Did you see him down that white line?
Yeah.
In 1 and 2 and here and 4, wading through those bumps, trying to find that speed, go to short way around the racetrack. He was only 300ths of a second slower than Bobby Labonte in practice. Here he comes by to complete that first lap. We'll get an indication if he can run something like Labonte.
4th quick.
4th quick, and he was in the 46s already. 46.983. Labonte ran a 77. But I don't think Jeff Burton can pick up down to a 48.77 or whatever, 4.77, whatever Bobby Labonte ran. But he will have a good lap and should move into the outside of the front row.
Needless to say, in the last 6 races, Jeff Gordon has accumulated the most points, but Jeff Burton has accumulated the 2nd highest number of points. A few more than Mark Martin. Jeff has a 9.83 finishing average.
Look at the thing overheat.
Yep.
You see the water come out the overflow?
Well, it was almost at the end of the lap. We'll see.
Might have slowed him down just a little bit.
Okay. 2nd lap. Whoa, it's up to number 2.
Wow, it didn't slow him down. Actually, look at that. Picked up a quarter of a second. 46.710. 192.678. Good run, Jack.
A very good run. So now it's Bobby Labonte on the pole and Jeff Burton alongside. Spencer, Labonte, Petty, Wallace, and Burton are among those to qualify yet at Daytona. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We're qualifying for Saturday night's Pepsi 400. RPM tonight is on every weeknight at 7 o'clock with John Kernan in the seat. Tomorrow night he'll have a report on Busch qualifying at St. Louis. Cart is in Australia, and a wrap-up of everything that's happening here at Daytona. For those of you watching ESPN News, we welcome you to the beautifully lit Daytona International Speedway, where history is being made. The most recent qualifier is Dave Marcus, who had such an outstanding run last weekend at Talladega, and he's turned in a very respective qualifying effort here tonight. 13th quick of the 19 that we have had, 189.346. Bill Weber is with Mark Martin.
And you're currently 4th. How were your laps?
They were about maybe a little better than we expected. I'm real pleased with it. You know, I couldn't have done that without a great race team. This Valvoline bunch put this car together. It's an untested car, and we came down here and did quite a bit better than we did in February without having a chance to work with it. So it's you know, we just got to try to race better than we did last week. Last week we qualified good and didn't race as good as we needed to, and so we were caught up in a wreck, and maybe, you know, if we can race right this time, possibly we can be ahead of the wreck. So you know, we'll just wait and see. But, you know, that's a tribute to this race team. They've done a great job. They made progress with the restricted plate cars, and I certainly didn't have anything to do with it.
I think he did. He was the one that was in there. Good lap for Mark Martin. Let's go to Ray with one of those fast Labonte brothers.
Yeah, a couple more cars, Bill, till Terry goes out there. Little brother's making your job pretty tough, isn't he?
I don't think we can beat that. That was an awful good lap. That was a little bit quicker than we thought he would run. And, you know, I guess we ran about a 75 or something like that in practice. And so I don't know. I didn't know we could do that again. So we'll just have to wait and see. Our Kellogg Chevy was running good in practice. We didn't make but a couple of laps in it. It's the same car we had last week, qualified 4th last week. And, so we'll see.
Finished 3rd at Talladega, though. That's the real important number.
Yeah, we finished, had a good run, and stayed out of trouble, and, you know, we're able to bring the same car here.
Okay, good luck to Terry Labonte. Let's hear from Jeff Burton. He's with Bill.
And he just checks in with his crew, and now he's back. And obviously, another great qualifying effort for you and the Roush guys.
That's just incredible. We left here at the Daytona 500, and nobody even wanted to talk to us except talk to us about how bad we were. We've got our 2 cars most likely steadily in the top 10, and we had a legitimate shot at the pole, even though Bobby beat us pretty badly. Going into it, we had a legitimate shot. Never been here with a legitimate shot, so I'm real proud of everybody at Roush Racing. Engine department stepped it up, the chassis department stepped it up, the body people stepped it up, crew chief stepped it up, everybody. It's not just one little thing, and
driver stepped it up.
Nah, I can't take credit here. Maybe later, but not today. The driver makes a difference Saturday, but not a lot today. Just a long way we've come in a pretty short period of time, and real excited about getting into this winter and trying to improve even from here, and maybe come to the Daytona 500 and not have to sweat out making qualifying like we generally do.
Okay, we're always happy to talk to you, Jeff, anytime.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Jimmy Spencer did not have a good qualifying run at Talladega last week. He started 36th. He was the last man to make the field, not taking a provisional. But he drove to a 4th place finish, and he also didn't qualify very well here tonight.
No, he certainly didn't. He's 18th right now. Probably will have to take a provisional to get in the field for the Pepsi 400. But once again, I think his car will run good in the race. His fastest speed was his second lap, 48.097, 187.122. Here comes Ricky Craven. Down in the Pontiac, the Skittles Wild Berry Pontiac. Talked to Ernie Irvin this afternoon, and he said, this is basically my decision. He said, right now, my head hurts, and I just feel beat up. I'm sore. And he said, I just, right now, don't feel like I should be on the racetrack, especially in this qualifying, as rigid as these cars are, as much as they bounce these drivers around. He said, I don't think I need to be out there. So he said, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll see how I feel. If I feel like traction racing, then I'll drive the car.
Oh, yeah, this would give a headache to a normal person, let alone somebody who took a shot like he did last week. So Ricky Craven will try to get this car in the field. It's his first NASCAR Winston Cup start since Watkins Glen. So for those of you watching ESPN News, we thank you for joining us for this report. We'll send it back to the news studios. Dave? Ricky about to complete lap number 1 here at Daytona, and he is 18th quick among the 21 that have qualified. A 48.069, a 187.231.
He just couldn't get it down in turn 1 that time. When he started down in the corner, when he turned the steering wheel, the car said, you better not turn that steering wheel. If you do, we're liable to spin out. So he did not turn the steering wheel, and therefore missed the corner a little bit down in turn 1, which will hurt him a little bit. He gets in this corner very, very well. And look at that speed that Bobby Labonte has these guys shooting for.
Almost a full mile an hour above Jeff Burton.
193.611 miles per hour.
Here's Craven coming to the checkered and completing his run. He was 18th quick, as you can see, after lap number 1, and moves up just 1 spot.
Well, he picked it up about a quarter of a second, 47.813, 188.233 miles per hour.
Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt, and Mark Martin are the top 4 qualifiers so far.
I'll take it.
The Honda ATVs.
Is the next qualifier. First lap, 47.526, a 189.370. Remember, did okay in qualifying at Talladega last week. It's just that he crashed the car in happy hour and had to start the backup car. So he is probably going to turn in a pretty good run here on lap number 2. Well, Friday night of the fights this week, BP, this ought to be a good one. It's from the Miccosukee Tribal Gaming Center in Miami. We've got Golden Johnson, the NABF champion, who's 15-1-2, against Israel Pito Cardona, who is the USBA champion, who's 29-2. That's on Friday Night Fights at 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on The Deuce on Friday. Plus, of course, classic fight footage.
Check that out. Bodine has completed his qualifying run. Lap 2 is 47.331, 190.150. Another good qualifying run. Currently in 11th spot. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Benny, at the top of the show, I told you that some of these guys brought new cars. Some of them brought the same car they had last weekend. And, Kevin, you brought the same car you had last weekend, but the whole front end of it was torn off. How'd they get that thing ready?
That's true, Ray. Can't say enough for the guys back at Liberty. They had 2 wrecked race cars to pick, the Prime Star Ford and the Cheerios Ford. And they started working on it Monday morning at 5 o'clock, and at 11 o'clock Monday night, it was out of the paint shop, and the guys ready to put decals on it Tuesday morning. You know, without that support that I have behind me, both at Liberty here and the guys that we have working on the car, we would never bought the same car here, so my hats are off to them.
Unbelievable, guys, how much work gets done on these race cars in a short period of time.
Kevin LePage, of course, is a candidate for Rookie of the Year in Winston Cup this year, and he has closed the interval points-wise to just 15 behind Kenny Irwin. There for a while, we looked like it was going to be a one-man rookie race with Kenny Irwin walking away with things, but LePage is 15 behind, and Nadeau is 26 behind, so he's not out of it either.
No, it's really good between all the top 3 of those drivers, and Steve Park, I think, would be in the middle of that mix had he not set out so many races in the middle of the year with his injury.
Hey, Dale, you got a couple of bucks to loan me?
Nah.
$1 million last week. He was the winner of the Winston No Bull $5 million bonus when he took the checkered flag at Talladega. Well, this is Rich Bickle.
Yes, the Thornapple Valley meets Ford Taurus, and I heard where they got rid of their crew chief this week, so it's interesting to see who's calling the shots down there for Rich Bickle. Why? And we can see he's failed to qualify in all 3 restricted plate races this year.
And his first lap is 20th fastest
at 48.026, 187.398. Bob, I think if Bickle could pick it up about a quarter of a second, he just might qualify. We're about halfway through qualifying. Right now, he's in 20th. That would put him in 40th. If he can get up to about 15th or 16th, I think he might stand a chance in starting in the Pepsi 400 here Saturday night. But he's got to pick up about a quarter of a second.
He has raced twice here at Daytona. His best start 29th in February of 90, and his best finish was 20th in July of 94. Checkered flag drops. We have our 23rd qualifier of the evening, and Rich Bickle's second lap moves him up to 18th.
47.796, 188.300. Yeah, I think if he could run 47.75, just 400ths a second faster, he would have been okay, but maybe 18th will hang in there.
Bobby Labonte is on the provisional pole here at Daytona with a speed of 193.611. Bull qualifying for Saturday night's Pepsi 400 at Daytona, being brought to you by Lacrosse, the best footwear and apparel for outdoor work and play. On the racetrack is Steve Grissom, and his first lap was 47.701, 188.675, 17th fastest.
If he get up to about 47.50, I think that means he will be in the field solidly for Saturday night's Pepsi 400. Here he comes. Checker flag is out. 47.50, Steve, is what you need. Can you do it?
And, oh, he sure did.
Wow, look, did he ever. 47.374, 189.978, 12th so far. Yes, he's in there.
In there solidly. Ray, meanwhile, is with Wally Dallenbach, who'll be going out before too long.
Yeah, Bob, and he had a great race car last week at Daytona. How's this one compare to the one you had just a couple days ago?
It's a different car. It's a brand new race car, so we don't know because the cars drive so terrible during qualifying. They're all awful, but I think it'll be a good race car. I know we're going to have good power, so if I had a car like that last week, it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, good luck out there, and guys, remember, the guy that crew chief for him is Tony Furr, and he won this race a year ago.
And next, we have a Labonte brother. Remember, Bobby is on the pole right now with a 193.612. Terry, in practice, was second quick to his brother, so we'll see if they can fight it out again for the pole position.
Didn't they do that in February here? Mm-hmm. Wasn't Bobby on the pole and Terry was on the outside? Well, I wonder what the chances of that happening 2 races in a row would be.
Yep.
But I'll tell you one thing, he has got an awfully good chance of doing it because he was fast in practice.
Terry has started in the top 5 for all 3 restrictor plate races this season. Second in the Daytona 500, third in the Die Hard 500, fourth last weekend at the Winston 500. That is a starting average of 3.0. Not too shaggy.
Not too shabby. Once again, if you just tune us in, you see the back of these cars sagging. Really soft springs in the rear and some shocks. And when the car goes down, they hold them there. Trying to get that rear blade, that red spoiler out of the air, trying to get it down out of the air so it will not restrict these cars as they go down the straightaway. Trying to make them go faster and faster. Labonte completes that first lap, an indication what's going to happen.
Well, not too good.
No, he will not be on the front row with brother Bobby this time at 47.276, 190.371.
Terry Labonte has started 598 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup races. He's edging up to that 600 mark, which he will achieve before the end of the year. Coming down for the checkered flag. And 25 have now qualified, so we now move into the bubble situation. Robert Presley is the slowest of the 25 that have qualified. Oh, Terry moved it up to the second row.
On the inside of the second row, third spot, 46.884, 191.963. We can see picked up quite a bit, about 0.4 of a second. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Benny, I think we ought to hear from another potential pole winner, and that's Rusty Wallace. You were under 47 seconds, but I don't know, Bobby Labonte's pretty tough.
Oh, yeah, he's real tough. I mean, that'd be a miracle to run that quick. That's he's class of the field right now. But Bobby was like that at Talladega and in the 500 here at Daytona, so we all expected that. They've really got their qualifying package worked out, and they're able to maintain that during the race. We've got a great car here. We ended the practice 5th quick. I hope I can run at least that quick.
You were 5th in the 500, but those races are very different than the weather we've got tonight, right?
Well, it's not really the weather, it's the track. Daytona was really good to me this year, and I think it's going to be good to me for Saturday night's race. I really feel good about it. Like I said, I got a great car, a good motor combination. Just need a little luck right now.
Well, good luck, Rusty Wallace. Kevin LePage on the racetrack right now.
Rusty had his best finish ever here at Daytona in February. He was 5th. Here is Kevin LePage. As we indicated, Robert Presley is on the bubble at the moment.
You know, and talk about the bubble, what's really going to be critical is these guys like Presley are going to be in trouble tomorrow because qualifying tomorrow is at 6:30. And that's going to be cool, but not as cool as it is tonight. So the cars should not run quite as fast as they do tonight. So, you know, in hopes of picking up speed tomorrow, it's going to be awfully hard to do. They need that speed here tonight to be assured of racing in the Pepsi 400 on Saturday night.
That is a good point. They ought to be trying their best. 20th fast for Kevin LePage on his first lap, a 188.367, 47.779.
Good lap for LePage on that first time out. Good shadow on the backstretch. What's going to happen when these cars get side by side and bumper to bumper and 3 abreast? What happens with the shadows then?
I think that's what everybody is most interested in and what they think might create the most concern. But I'll tell you what, this place is absolutely awesome. To come here and see this place lit as well as it is a sight to behold. Kevin LePage concludes the qualifying run. He's 13th fastest. It's 47.344, a 190.098. Bill Weber's with Terry Labonte.
You were holding your breath? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, God. Well, the first 2 times out in practice, I couldn't even make a lap, you know. I came back in, and then we did run pretty quick a couple of times. The only other 2 times we went out. And I thought we were going to be a little bit better than that. And we made some changes on it, trying to get a little bit more speed out of it. We didn't get any more speed. I think we lost just a little bit, but we'll take it. That's a good starting spot. This Kellogg Chevy's the same one I had last week. I know it's going to race good.
Okay, so Bobby's got bragging rights tonight, but you're going to go for him Saturday.
That's right.
Good luck.
Okay.
Terry Labonte, who right now is 3rd quick at 191.963 behind Jeff Burton and his brother Bobby, who's the quickest in the 26 qualifiers we've had so far.
2 words: digital cable.
Welcome back to Daytona, where Andy Hillenberg has now taken the checkered flag and completed his run. His first lap was 47.555, a 189.255. Second lap, 15th quick. Good run for Andy, 47.374, a 189.978. A reminder that coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern Time or at the conclusion of qualifying here at Daytona, it's fire on ice as the Colorado Avalanche take on the Phoenix Coyotes in the young NHL season here on the Deuce. That's at 10 o'clock or after the conclusion of our coverage.
Well, that's where you'll be tonight when your feet kicked up watching ice hockey, huh?
You got that right. That was a good run by Andy, wasn't it, in that joyful car?
It was a great run for Hillenberg. Like I said, in 15th spot. He probably will make the top 25 tonight, easily in the field for the Pepsi 400. You see, we keep talking about the field. There are 49 cars you're attempting to qualify for the race. Only 43 will start, so 6 of these guys will have to go home.
Ray Dunlap is with Steve Park, who's got some good news this weekend, huh?
Well, he really does, Bob, and part of that is because he's got a Richard Childress engine, man. This car ran a little faster than last week, right?
Yeah, it is, and I'd like to thank Richard and his whole organization. He kind of went to bat for us and then loaned us an engine and put in a Pennzoil car, and we're running a lot better than we did last weekend. But I'll tell you what, the guys back at the Pennzoil engine shop's been doing a good job for us all year long. These restrictor plate races are tough, and it takes years to kind of develop a good restrictor plate engine. And with this being an important race, being at night for the first time, we felt it was important to go to the source. And we went to Dale and asked him. He talked to Richard, and here we are down in Daytona under the lights with a car that's pretty competitive. We ended up being about 18th fastest in practice, and that was a lot better than 36 where we were last week. And I think we got a little bit more left, so I'll have to see what happens.
41st in the Daytona 500. We'll forget about that, okay?
Yeah, we will, and you know that was due to a mechanical failure. So we're putting all that behind us this weekend, starting fresh. Got a good piece under the hood for qualifying, and then we're going to run all night Saturday night.
Go get him. Steve Park in the Pennzoil Chevrolet has a Richard Childress engine.
Wally Dallenbach has put himself on the bubble. He did bump Jimmy Spencer, also bumped Kenny Wallace and Robert Presley. Dallenbach ran a 48.076, 187, 204.
He is really struggling trying to get around the racetrack in the Budweiser Chevrolet. If he can pick up 3 or 4 tenths, that would help, but he's still certainly going to be mired back in the field when the race starts on Saturday night. It's over, and he goes down to 21st at 188.711 miles per hour. That's 47.692. Hey, Ray, when you're trying to hit him up for a loan, get some for me, too.
Yeah, me, too.
Yeah, I wish I could get a little of that money. Same car, same engine, same everything. How excited are you?
I'm excited. I'm just a lucky guy that gets to drive this thing.
And the lucky guy that went to the bank last week. It was a great race.
Thank you, and it was. Everything went well for us, just as you have to have in a Winston Cup race this day and time. Everything has to go pretty much perfect, and we had a good car, good pit stops, good strategy throughout, and got to the front at the right time.
I know right now you're interested in qualifying, but everybody wants to know, how many laps to go at the end of the race do you say it's time for just me, man? I'm looking out for myself.
Well, I think that anytime you get then 20 laps of the end, you've got to say, okay, you know, whoever you've helped and whoever's helped you, it's time then to start doing what you can do, get yourself in a position, because you know what you need to do with your car. And I just felt like it was time for me to go last week and get to the front, give myself enough time
time in case those guys did pass me to work my way back as far as I could.
You ever seen anything like this here at Daytona?
This is just incredible. I mean, yeah, we've been anticipating this for a couple of months now, but this is just great. Who would ever thought we'd be racing at Daytona at night? But what a crowd to have here tonight, and Saturday night should be even more special.
Good luck in qualifying. That's Dale Jarrett, and he goes out in about 4 or 5 cars.
Right now, Rusty Wallace is the man on the racetrack whose best start here was only a 4th. That came back in February of '94. However, Rusty has posted 18 top 10 qualifying efforts in '98, including 4 Bud poles. Here's the completion of lap number 1 for Rusty.
I'll tell you what, Rusty Wallace, he can run fast with this car, which he did pretty fast, 47.233. Watch this car go in the corner, Bob. No sparks.
That's very unusual tonight, isn't it?
Just a trace of a spark there. This car is really engineered for this racetrack to get the car low in the back because it is not dragging the racetrack. His first lap was good enough for 12th at 190.545. He can pick it up if he can pick it up a little bit, get in the top 10. This car might race all through the well. Watch this through those bumps in 3 and 4. We've seen all those cars throwing those sparks. No sparks out of the back of the 2 car.
Yep. Rusty trying to break a 58 race losing streak. He hasn't won in that long. Now the checkered flag comes out, and Rusty Wallace from 12th on lap number 1 moves to 6th on lap 2. Hey, good run.
Good run into the 46-second bracket, 46.990, 191.530. And that gets him in front of the 24 and 31 by about 1/100 of a second.
The Bud Shootout will be run here at Daytona in February. It involves all of those who have won a pole in 1998. Take a look at those who will be in the field at the moment. Jeff Gordon leads with 7 poles this year, and there are the other drivers who have won pole positions in 1998. More NASCAR Winston Cup qualifying for the Pepsi 400 is coming up in just a moment. Stay with us.
The year was 1920.
Ian2 welcomes you back to qualifying for the Pepsi 400 on Saturday night at lighted Daytona International Speedway. Now, there are all the numbers that you can digest here in the next few seconds, but the one that's really impressive and the one that we can all relate to is the one that Bill Weber used earlier. The lights here at Daytona are equal to 87,000 cars being lined up side by side, and all of them turning their high beams on.
You know, the most impressive thing that I've heard about the lights, it's enough power, enough lighting here in this racetrack to light a residential street from here in Daytona back to Iowa. People that installed Musco's headquarters back in Iowa. A residential street for that distance. Yeah. Red Bodine, good qualifying run, 13th. Fast lap 47.268, 190.404. We've had several cars bumped. Right now, the 98 car is on the bubble. The 36 of Ricky Craven's been bumped. Johnny Benson's been bumped. Kyle Petty is with, come on, Kyle, talk to him, Ray.
Well, part of the problem, Benny, is they're a little bit out of order here. Kyle should have gone just a little bit ago, and the reason is?
I'm out of order. I've been out of order all my life, it seems like, but I'm really out of order today. We didn't run that well, and had a little motor trouble, and we decided better safe than sorry, so we changed it, and now we were about through inspection and made us go through again, so we're just running behind.
Finished 7th here not too long ago. Can you do that again?
I don't know. We seem to have lost something from Talladega. We were good at Talladega, or decent at Talladega once the race started, but qualifying we were really far off. And come down here and we're the same way. We're a little bit slower here than we were there. So, you know, it's not good. I saw Michael's interview, and Michael did it a lot better than what he anticipated he was going to do. But, you know, the fastest we've run in practice has been like a 48.20 or something like that, which will probably put me about 42nd or 43rd, which is out of the top 36 and back in the provisional. So you just got to start counting stuff like that at that point.
I'll go get him. We need to hear from Rusty Wallace now, and I think Bill Weber found him.
I found him, and he's 6th. You happy with that? You run a 46.99.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. We ran like a 90, what was it, a 96 or something, 95 in practice, I guess. So we repeated what we did this afternoon. A lot of times, after you go through the House of Doom Inspection Center, you might lose a little bit. We didn't lose anything, and the car was good. It's beautiful out here tonight under these lights, man. It's nice to drive out there, but the engine really ran good in the car, and I'm real happy with it. So we're going to put a race setup in and get after it now.
Okay, put a good, strong radiator in that car, would you?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, after probably had the best car I ever had in my life at Martinsville and had that radiator problem, that was terrible. And then last weekend, I ran over a brake rotor that came off of somebody's car, blew both front tires out, and the rest of it went through the radiator. Now, that's bad luck.
He started 12th and finished 27th at Talladega last week after encountering that misfortune. Ward Burton is 10th quick. A good run for the Burton brother of Jeff. 47.096, a 191.099.
Now, Rich Bickle has been bumped in the 98 car. And on the bubble right now is Ricky Rudd in the 10. And Ted Musgrave goes out in the First Plus Financial Ford Taurus.
We have had 31 qualifiers so far. And the pole speed right now is 193.611, turned in by Bobby Labonte. And at the other end of the spectrum, the 25th fastest is Ricky Rudd at 188.454. Ted Musgrave about to take the green flag and begin his qualifying run. He was not real fast in practice, was he, Ben?
No, he really wasn't. Let's see. I will tell you in a moment. 37th fastest in practice. See, his best start in 1998 was 6th at Bristol. I think Musgrave is throwing away this lap as we see his line through the corner, a lane off that white line.
Ray's down there with Hud Strickland, Ray.
Yeah, Bob, actually, this is the new order of the Alabama gang right here. Gary Bradbury talking it over with Hut, and I want to know between you two who's going to go the fastest.
Well, we're racing back and forth right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, we don't know. We hope we both do, but I don't know. Our car's been running pretty good. You know, we've been, I think we was into the practice deal about 17th, so, you know, we never done a bonsai deal, so hopefully we can pick up from that.
Can you make the show, Gary?
Well, I don't know. We got the same car we had at Talladega. And, you know, we've helped the car some, but I really don't know if we've helped it enough. You know, it's a shame for Pilot Travel Center. They've stuck with us, and our Speedway program's really struggled all year, and we just hadn't had time to get our cars together. But we're better than we were at Talladega, but we'll just have to find out here if we're going to be good enough to get in.
Do you know what your deal is for 99 yet?
Not really. A lot of talk going on, but it's going to be hard to say. For hopefully in about 3 more weeks we can know.
Well, all of this is narrowing down, guys. We're going to find out who's driving what in the next couple of weeks.
Should all begin to shake out at that time. Ted Musgrave did not make the cut on lap number 1.
He should on this lap, though, if he can pick it up a couple of tenths or a quarter of a second. Should break into that top 25. First lap was 188.076. He takes the checkered flag. His qualifying run is over, and
just barely.
He just barely into 24th spot at 47.649, 188.881 miles per hour. Ricky Rudd's been bumped right now. Dallenbach on the bubble.
And on the pole, Bobby Labonte. More from Daytona International Speedway in a moment.
We asked for
3 cars qualified. Steve Park has just completed lap number 1, and it's 19th best.
At 47.419, you saw that 189.837. Right now, Dallenbach's been bumped. Musgrave is on the bubble. And why are these cars not running fast? Why are we talking about restrictor plates? Why are they doing all this stuff? The restrictor plates.
The dreaded restrictor plate.
You see this big hole there? Now, that's what it would normally run. But to see the small hole inside the aluminum plate, that restricts the airflow down. Check that out. That restricts the airflow down and robs these engines of about 300 horsepower.
Wow. That's a substantial reduction, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Steve Park, hey, a Childress engine put him up to 12th quick, a 47.146, a 190.896. Good run for Steve Park. He's 12th.
A great run for Park. So right now, as I said, Dallenbach has been bumped. Musgrave is on the bubble. Here goes DJ, the $1 Million Man, out to make his qualifying run.
Started 3rd last week at Talladega and drove to victory. He has posted 23 top 10 qualifying efforts, including 2 Bud poles this season. He started 11th or better in 18 of the last 19 races. He, of course, is 3rd in the point standings going into this race here at Daytona with 246 behind Jeff Gordon. And now he's only 42. Check that. He's 3rd in the point standings, 246 behind Jeff Gordon.
How many?
Mark, no, he's 246 behind Mark.
Behind Mark. Martin.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. because I knew Mark was 288 behind.
That's right, yes.
All right, DJ, let's get back to Dale Jarrett and his chances to win this Pepsi 400, which are pretty doggone good. In practice, he had run 46.96 or something. To get into the third spot, to beat Terry Labonte, he's got to go 46.88.
Oh, he's right down on the bottom of the track.
And this is his first lap.
He was fourth quick in the practice, over 191 miles an hour.
All right, checkered flag is out. First lap is complete for Jarrett. Hopefully this will give us some oh yes, good lap. 9th place already. 191, 424 miles per hour, 47.016. He's only got to pick up about 0.12 of a second to get the 1300s to get into third spot where he started last week.
Ted Musgrave has been bumped from the top 25, and now on the bubble is the 9 car of Jerry Nadeau at 189.203. Well, BP, what do you think here?
No, he's not going to be on the pole. I don't think there's any way he can pick up a half second. That's what he'd have to do to beat Bobby Labonte, but he might get to the front row.
There's the checkered flag. Did he do it? 9th quick after lap number 1. And he's in the second row.
Just beat Terry Labonte by about 1/100th of a second. 46.873, 192.008. Labonte ran an 8.84. So yes, 1/100th of a second.
So Dale Jarrett right now is third quick. Here are the Winston Cup point standings as we enter this race here at Daytona. Jarrett is 534 behind Jeff Gordon, but as you can see, there's some pretty tight races in the top 10, and the positions could change between now and the end of the season. Mud holes, dirt roads. For Mudpool qualifying for the Pepsi 400, our next NASCAR Winston Cup race coverage will be the finale of the season, Atlanta. Mudpool qualifying at 12:30 on Friday, November 6th on the Deuce. Then the ARCA Bondo Marhide ARCA 500K at 2 o'clock. Saturday, happy hours at 4:30, and the Steel 300 for the NASCAR Busch Series is at 5:30 on ESPN. That's Saturday, November 7th. Then the 8th race day, RPM today at 11, NASCAR today at 11:30, and the Napa 500. The finale of the season at 12:40 Eastern Time. And then there's more after that. On Sunday, the 8th at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on the Deuce, the CarQuest Auto Parts 420K for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. All right, the 44 car of Kyle Petty has just completed his run.
And as he said, they had not been running very well. They changed the engine, trying to find some speed. Obviously did not find enough. 34th fastest at 48.180, 186.800.
Here's a guy that would like to have a good qualifying run. He has yet to go. That, of course, is Darrell Waltrip. Ray Dunlap.
Well, he's got his fingers crossed down here. How are you going to run tonight?
You know, I'm better than I was last week, but that wasn't very good. So they did work on the car, and they've helped it some, but we're still behind a little bit. And just if I can get in the 47s, mid-47s, I'd be pretty happy with that. I don't know where that'll shake out, but that'd be a pretty good effort for us from where we were last week. We were terrible at Talladega. Same car, took it home and just beat the snot out of it, brought it back, see if it'll do any better.
Well, blow your nose, get in the car, and go have a good run. Let's hear from Dale Jarrett. He's currently third.
You won last week. You started third. Right now, you're third.
Pretty good number. Worked for us so far. So good run. And we're probably a little conservative. We put a set of shocks on that was probably faster late in the practice, and I felt like that it would run faster, but the chance was also there that I could bust my tail. And yeah, it's just a good race car, and I'd like to get to Saturday night with it.
This be pretty good to go back-to-back here, wouldn't it, Talladega Daytona?
Yeah, it sure would, and I think we have the car that can do it, but a lot of other people have good race cars here, too, so should be just a great race. This is just exciting to be here at night. It's going to be cooler for everybody. Racing should be pretty intense.
Have fun.
Okay, we'll do it.
Derek Cope is on the racetrack. First lap, 19th quick, 47.374, 189.978.
And Jerry Nadeau has been bumped. Now, Jeff Green is the car on the bubble. 189.215 is the speed. You know, this car, the Gum-Out Pontiac, ran awfully well here in the Daytona 500, Bob, until he had that incident on pit road, which pit road, which damaged the car.
And he started 11th in the Daytona 500, finished in 37. Hayes, 12th best.
47.097, 191.095, and they bring a good car back again.
36 cars have now qualified, and the next out is Hut Strickland in car number 55. Now, Andy Petrie will run 2 cars in 1999, and his second driver will be Kenny Wallace, right?
In car number 55.
Right.
With Square D as a sponsor, but they thought they would get a head start on the 1999 season by running Hut Strickland in a couple of races. They have a new crew chief. They have a crew chief in this car, Jimmy Elledge, who worked with Jack Roush earlier this year. As a matter of fact, still changes front tires for Roush, and will do so the rest of the season. They're trying to get their feet wet, trying to understand a little bit about these race cars and let the crew work together a few races before Wallace comes on board. As Hut Strickland comes by and takes the lead.
As he indicated when we talked to him, he really didn't run that bad in practice. He was 17th quick overall at above 190 miles an hour.
And this is sponsored by Oakwood Mobile Homes, the sponsor on their Busch Series. And there we see the top 25 cars, 193.611 to 189.215. From Bobby Labonte all the way down to Jeff Green in the 46 car.
Strickland was not in the Daytona 500 this year. In the Pepsi 400 last year in July, he started 19th and finished in 36th position. He's coming off corner number 4 to get the white flag and halfway around on his qualifying effort.
Ran pretty good in practice and ran pretty good year. He will make the top 25, 189.777. That's 47.424. So Jeff Green's been bumped, and Dave Marcus is now the car in the real Tree Chevrolet, is the car on the bubble. Time to beat for the bubble, 189.346. And Hut Strickland trying to find some more speed, get up there a little bit higher. 15th, that's what I'd like. Hut says 15th.
He's had some pretty good runs here at Daytona. His best finish was 5th in 91 in the Daytona 500. His 4th, I should say, in 93, and his best start was 5th in 91. Here we go. Checkered flag drops, and Hut Strickland has completed the run. Let's see how far, if at all. Oh, he's way up there in 10th spot.
Wow, 10th spot. I've shot way too low.
Yeah, you were a little low there.
47.012, 191.440, 10th spot for Hut.
On the front row, it is Bobby Labonte at 193.611. Jeff Burton is the second quick at 192.678. We'll be right back.
Mark McGuire.
Daytona, as we pan our camera over to the left, there you can see the racetrack and how all lighted up it is and looking very, very spiffy for Saturday night's Pepsi 400. We're qualifying tonight. The Bud pole right now is in the hands of Bobby Labonte, and Dick Trickle is on the racetrack. Not a good first lap for Dick.
No, it isn't. 186.943, 35th. Got a lot of guys, you know, they're going to start 43 cars. They're going to qualify 36, the 36 fastest cars, and then they'll fall back to provisionals. Cars that provisionals are their spots based on their point standing. And we see some guys are out of provisionals. You can only use, like, I think it's 7 per year. Jerry Nadeau, Derek Cope, he's in the field. Don't have to worry about him. Rick Wilson and Jeff Bodine. But Jeff Bodine and Derek Webb, Derek Cope, are in the field, so don't have to worry about that. But Nadeau and Rick Wilson are concerned, as Dick Trickle, 32nd, is the best he can do. 47.803, 188.273. Bill Weber.
Well, Derek Cope, all kinds of things for you to be fired up. You are out of provisionals, but obviously you won't need one here. You're coming off a season high finish at Talladega, and you ran great here in the 500.
Yes, it's a good lap for us. I'm happy to come out, Jimmy Dean, Brian, because we need a good effort here. They're all coming in to view this race, and you know, to get that kind of a lap tonight, even though we bottomed out pretty hard, I'm looking for good things. Now we can concentrate on the race setup.
And coming in off the race at Talladega and your good run here, that obviously boosts your confidence for the 400 here Saturday night.
Yes, I mean, the car didn't run as well as I like at Talladega, but we learned some things there that we can bring here. And this car is the same car we ran here in February, and we were a factor. We could have won that race very easily. And if it'll do that here on Saturday night, we could be a factor.
Okay, we'll be watching. Good night.
Hi, Dad.
Ray?
Well, Bill, as we talk about some of those guys that are worried about provisionals, one guy that might not have to worry is Billy Standridge. He's got a pretty good race car. And, Billy, this old race car of yours has made 4 or 5 starts on the super speedway. It's a pretty good car, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We built this car last August for the race last year in Talladega. We've run every race since then. It's been a good one. And we practiced real good tonight, or this afternoon, so I think we'll be all right tonight, too.
Well, guys, he practiced right around 21st, 22nd, something like that, so he may be bumping a few guys.
And here's a guy who was 11th quick in the practice as he's running a T-Bird again this week. This is Chad Little.
Had a great run at Talladega last week. Here comes Little by, takes the green flag. We'll get an indication. Let's see how far down does he go. Down he goes all the way to the boom. 25th at 189.382. That's 47.523. Trying to find just a few more hundredths of a second. And right now he is on the bubble. Bill Weber.
With Hutch Strickland, and you can smile for us, can't you? You're currently 10th.
Yeah, I tell you, it feels good. You know, I tell you, Andy and all his guys have worked awful hard on this Oakwood home Chevrolet, and it really shows. You know, it feels really good to get in a good race car for a change, and hopefully we can have a good run Saturday night.
Okay, best of luck to you. Good to welcome back. Welcome.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Chad Little coming down to take the checkered flag. He bumped Dave Marcus out of the top 25, but put himself in the 25th position on that first lap. Lap number 2 is faster. He's 19th overall.
Yes. 47.300, 190.275 miles per hour.
Only got about 10 more cars to qualify here this evening. Is anybody going to be able to knock Bobby Labonte off the pole? Well, we have some more qualifiers before we can officially give it to him. We'll be right back. It's here at Daytona International Speedway. You know, last night there was a big fundraiser held not too far from the Speedway, just across the street. Betty Jane Friends fundraiser, Paint a Healthy Picture for Children, helped raise money for the Speediatrics Project. That's helping redecorate Halifax Medical Center's entire 6th-floor pediatrics unit in a racing theme. Betty's husband, Bill, many drivers, along with Volusia County art students, helped paint pictures that were later auctioned off. An emotional beginning as Betty's son, Brian, and NASCAR made the first donation of $50,000. They have reached their goal of raising over $250,000, and they are still counting the money. So a very successful effort, and congratulations to Betty Jane and all of those involved with that incredible fundraiser last night. On the racetrack is Gary Bradbury.
In the Pilot Travel Center's Ford Taurus. Comes off down for the white flag, complete his first lap. Right now, Michael Waltrip, as you can see, is the car on the bubble. There's the top 25 cars. And boom, Bradbury, 40th best. Got to pick it up considerably, 49.150. He will not be able to make it in the top 36 here this afternoon because Jimmy Spencer's speed is 36 with 187. So Bradbury's got to hope and pray he can find some speed between tonight and tomorrow qualifying about 6:30 in the afternoon.
He's only been in one race here at Daytona, NASCAR Winston Cup competition. That was in the Pepsi 400 back in 1996. He started 29th and finished in 35th. Checkered flag waves. 40 cars now have qualified. And the second lap for Gary Bradbury is just a little bit faster, but still only 39th best.
48.627, 185.082 for Bradbury. As I said, 36 cars, all that's going to qualify, the rest by provisionals. And here's a car that we saw a moment ago that's out of provisionals, the Kodiak Chevrolet, driven by Rick Wilson. Got to make it in on speed, got to get in the top 36.
There's an incredible manufacturers battle going on in Winston Cup competition. Ford now leads with Dale Jarrett's win last week at Talladega by just 3 over Chevy. And Ford has won 20 races here at Daytona, and Chevy has won 21. So it's up for grabs on Saturday night here in the Pepsi 400 1998. Here's Rick Wilson to take his qualifying run.
You know, I keep talking, assuming that cars will not be able to break in the top 36 tomorrow afternoon. Certainly they can break in the top 36 tomorrow afternoon, but it would be a lot easier to do it tonight.
Yeah, as you said, it's going to be much earlier in the day. The sun will be out when they take second round qualifying tomorrow, so chances are not as good of turning in a good speed tomorrow as they are here under the lights tonight.
Here's Rick Wilson down in the corner right now. 37th, 8th, and 9th, and 40th is Kenny Wallace, Kyle Petty, Garrett Bradbury, and Robert Presley. They've either got to pick up some speed or use the provisional to make the field. Here comes Rick Wilson to complete that first lap. What will it be? Good news, bad news. Not good.
Not good at all.
Not good. 48.259, 186.494. He's somehow, some way got to find about a half second.
Well, there's some experience and a lot of race wins there, huh? Right. Elliott and Darrell Waltrip talk things over. Rick Wilson did run a 188.4 in practice, but he's going to have to really pick it up, and probably will not be able to here on the second lap to achieve that. He was at Talladega last weekend and was not able to get into that field. So let's see how well he does here on lap number 2.
He's going to pick it up some. Will it be? He's the 35th at 47.952, 187.688. So now Jimmy Spencer has been bumped out of the top 36, and right now Johnny Benson is the car 36th.
And on the 25th bubble remains Michael Waltrip. Bill Elliott has yet to qualify. He and others when we come back to Daytona.
The Honda ATVs. The desert can't beat them.
Fans are adding their own lighting in Daytona. Some fans have brought some lights and strung it up to their campers, kind of creating a carnival atmosphere like you see at Le Mans. This is Daytona International Speedway, and we are qualifying for Saturday night's Pepsi 400. A reminder coming up will be the Colorado Avalanche and the Phoenix Coyotes. NHL hockey, we are going to go a little bit over, but not very much, because we've got just a few more cars to qualify, about 6 more after the one on the track, so won't be long. Stay tuned. NHL Fire on Ice as the Avalanche and the Coyotes go at it. Joe Nemechek turned in a 47.724 on lap number 1, 31st fastest, 188.584.
And that bumped Johnny Benson out of the top 36. I keep talking about 36. I understand they were only qualifying 25 cars. I'm just trying to keep you abreast of what's going to happen tomorrow night. Benson's been bumped out of that top 36 right now. Rick Wilson is the car on the bubble. But on the bubble, is Michael Waltrip still on the bubble, Bob?
No. Oh, he just barely got bumped. Nemechek clocked in with a 47.455, a 189.653. How much faster was that than Waltrip?
Let's see. You'll have to give me a moment.
That's all right. 189.522 for Waltrip and 189.653 for Joe Nemechek. So that is it in terms of miles per hour. But Nemechek does put himself on the bubble, so although he did crack the top 25, he still has a little bit of sweating to do before we get the qualifying concluded here this evening. And next up will be the guy we talked with not too long ago. This is Billy Standridge, who was 23rd fastest in practice.
I don't think Michael Waltrip qualified because I can't find him.
Oh, well, that could be. Billy Standridge, 189.514 in practice, so if he can do that, he'll be in pretty good shape. Not in the top 25, but will be among the top 36. still looking?
Yeah, still looking. You know, Standards talk about it, and this car has been running awfully doggone well. We see it's one of those T-birds.
Bobby Labonte has taken the pole here, and as I said, now 5 to go after Billy Standridge. 193.611 was the speed that Bobby Labonte turned in. Jeff Burton is second, followed by Jarrett, Labonte, and Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon is 8th quick, and as you see there, Mark Martin is 6th fastest.
I found the answer for you. 300ths of a second. Nemechek was faster than Michael Waltrip.
First lap for Billy. How'd he do? He made it.
Wow, 24th. 47.441. 189.709. Joe Nemechek's been bumped. And right now, Jeremy Mayfield is on the bubble. 189.685 is the time to beat.
Ray is with Bobby Hamilton.
Well, Bobby, we see you looking around at the lights here. You know what this place looks like now. What do you think it's going to be like racing under these lights?
It's going to be pretty easy for us. I mean, they've done an excellent job lighting the place. The race fans are going to have to love it. It's going to make it a lot better for them, you know, the coolness, the breeze blowing and everything like that. Another thing I think it's going to do, the cars are going to drive somewhat better, because here in the 4th of July race, you know, the cars usually get tight and start pushing, but, you know, this car right here is what we run in Talladega, and the chassis on this car really works good, so we're hoping we can have a good run for Kodak and Landauer.
You guys run inches apart out there on the track. Are you concerned about shadows at all?
Not really. You're so bunched up, you're not going to be paying no attention to anything but about the 15 cars on each side of you. That's about it.
Well, good luck in qualifying.
Bobby Hamilton will be out in just a moment. Next up is Darrell Waltrip as Billy Standridge clocks in 18th best. A really good run for Billy.
You saw it, 47.228, 190.565. The Tabasco Pontiac DW.
His best start here at Daytona was on the pole in the Pepsi 400 in 1988, and of course he was the winner of the Daytona 500 in 1989. He has participated in 50 NASCAR Winston Cup races here at Daytona.
And right now, Rick Wilson is 37th. If he can't find some speed tomorrow afternoon, he'll have to take that Kodiak Chevrolet home as DW goes by, takes the green flag. And the 36 car, the Skittles Pontiac of Ricky Craven, Ernie Irvin's car. Ernie is not driving this weekend. Ricky Craven qualified the car. He is currently in 36th spot.
A reminder that if you're tuning in for the Avalanche and the Coyotes, stay with us. It'll be on in just a moment. We have 4 more cars to go after Darrell Waltrip completes his run. Then we'll send you to Phoenix for Fire on Ice. Darrell Waltrip is about to complete lap number 1.
Wow, look at that car. How violent that car just is bottoming out and moving around the racetrack.
Tabasco Pontiac completes lap number 1. And it'll drop off the chart, BP.
Boom, yes, DW only 42nd best.
An hour, so Waltrip will have to pick it up.
And there's no way he can pick it up enough to get in the, even in the top 36 cars, because 36 right now is 188.23 miles per hour. Tell you what, these new teams are a work in progress, trying to get them together, trying to get everyone pulling in the same direction. Here comes DW, checkered flag is out.
Picked it up a couple of positions up to 39th, but a disappointing run for Darrell Waltrip. 48.044 seconds. That's a 187.328. So again, qualifying is winding down here at Daytona as Bobby Labonte continues to hang on to the pole.
Do you have trouble driving?
Beautiful evening in Daytona Beach, Florida. Bud pole qualifying for the Pepsi 400 is just about over here. Bobby Labonte has to sweat out just a few more qualifiers. And and our ESPN Speed World coverage of the qualifying at the beautiful Daytona Lighted Speedway, being brought to you by Propecia. Talk to your doctor today. All right, Dan Pardis is on the racetrack. First lap was 37th best, 47.918, 187.821.
And this is a Hendrick engine in this car, same engine that Jeff Gordon, Terry Labonte, Wally Dallenbach have in their cars. And we can see Pardis is trying his best, 37th. He's pick up, oh, I don't know, anything would be better.
Pardis is a local driver, makes his home here in Daytona Beach. We have Bill Elliott, Bobby Hamilton, and Rick Mast yet to qualify. Dan Pardis' second lap is 32nd fastest.
But 32nd, and it might be just fast enough to run on Saturday night's Pepsi 400. 47.660, 188.838 miles per hour. Right now, the 36 car, Ricky Craven, has been bumped. Dick Trickle is now 36, and that's all the cars they will qualify.
Here's the rundown of what we've accomplished so far. Labonte and Burton are on the front row, with Jarrett and Labonte in row number 2. Earnhardt and Marlin. Jeff Gordon is back in 8th position. And the defending champion of the race, John Andretti, is 14th quick. Now 15 through 30. Last week's pole sitter at Talladega, Ken Schrader, leads that page.
And we see great run once again for Billy Standridge. Brett Bodine continues. Jeff Bodine solidly in the field. Jeremy Mayfield still on the bubble. We see Nemechek, Waltrip, all those guys been bumped. And now we see 31 through 45. That's all the cars that have qualified up until now.
And again, some of these drivers are really struggling and got a lot of work ahead of them to get into the field for Saturday night's race. Here is Bill Elliott, a 4-time pole sitter here at Daytona, most recently in the Daytona 500 in 1987, and a 4-time winner here at this track, most recently in the Pepsi 400 in 1991.
Elliott throwing his first lap away, trying to get up speed for the second lap. You hockey fans, hang on. We got 2 more cars after Elliott.
It won't be long, folks. Just hang on. Hockey game's coming right up for you. First lap for Bill Elliott, not good, BP.
No, 38th best, 47.833. 188, 155. He needs to pick it up. Needs to get in that top 36 anyway.
Those 4 poles and the 4 victories here at Daytona for Bill are the best among the active drivers. Bill has competed here at the Speedway 42 times.
This lap is going to be better. You see him moving his wheel, his steering wheel just a little bit.
And not a whole lot of bottoming out there in 3 and 4 either, like we saw Rusty Wallace.
Here comes Elliott. Could be much better. He's in the top 25.
No, but he did pick it up.
29th best at 47.538, 189.322 miles per hour. So Jeremy Mayfield still the car on the bubble.
He is the 25th fastest qualifier with 2 more to go. And the next driver to take a shot at it is Bobby Hamilton in car number 4. Kodak Films car.
Now Dick Trickle is back in 37th spot. Rich Bickle, who we said has not qualified this year for a restrictor plate race, is now 36th fastest. Look at him bottom out. Look at Hamilton bottom out.
Here's the completion.
I think it's green.
That's a green flag. Yeah, sorry about that. Bobby Hamilton.
Wow. We can see he just can't get that car down the bottom, or maybe this is a throwaway lap, as we've seen so many of the other drivers. Really got that car. The shocks are really aggressive, letting that car sink so much in the back. You see that blade back there, the more they can get that car down, the more degrees they can take out of that spoiler, the faster this car is going to go.
Bobby ran a 189.088 during the practice. Here he is off of corner number 4, looking at the white flag and the completion of lap number 1.
Remember, Bob, at Talladega this week, the car did not qualify well, but this Kodak film Chevrolet flew in the race. And once again, he's not going to qualify well. 42nd best.
Wow.
But again, I think that it was a throwaway lap, but he's still, the car is bottoming out so much, he cannot keep it on the bottom.
He did start 37th last Sunday at Talladega and drove all the way up to a 15th place finish.
But was running in the lead pack there near the end of the race.
Coming up, Colorado and Phoenix, NHL Fire on Ice. Bobby Labonte awaits to see if he wins the pole position after Bobby Hamilton qualifies. Just one more to go, and that is Rick Mast. Bobby looks pretty confident there.
Yeah, he looks like, well, I think I've got me another trophy for mine. All right. And he goes to...
Oh, he made the cut.
36th. 36 fastest at 47. 766, 188.419. And Rich Bickle has been bumped out of the top 36 by 1/100th of a second. Now, can Bickle find a 10th between now and tomorrow? He's got to somehow, some way.
One more qualifier, and that is Rick Mast, the only driver with more than 5 starts at Daytona who has not had at least one DNF here. In practice, he ran a 187.77, only 42nd fastest. So I don't think we can consider him a pole sitter, but the question is, where is he going to fall in the lineup, and is it going to be good enough to get him in the top 36?
You know, I think I said earlier today that 49 cars would be attempting to qualify for the Pepsi 400. Actually, there's only going to be 48 cars take time because Randall Ritter withdrew his entry and took his car home this afternoon.
He did draw for a qualifying position earlier in the day, but then made that decision after making the draw, and so there are only 48 attempting to make the field. And Rick Mast is halfway around on lap number 1.
There you see the top 25 as our last car was up qualified, Jeremy Mayfield. And you know that Jeremy Mayfield and all these guys that sit in the top 30 are relieved because they want to get these qualifying setups under these cars, put the race setup, and see what's going to happen as far as the race is concerned on Saturday night. All right, Rick Mast comes by. White flag is in the air.
Lap number 1. Oh, not good at all. 46th.
46th best. 48, 271, 186.447.
Back in 1991 for the Daytona 500, Rick had his best start at Daytona, a 7th. He had a 4th place finish in that same race in 1991. Completed here 15 times.
So Bobby Labonte once again will start from the pole for Saturday night's Pepsi 400 in the Interstate Batteries Pontiac Joe Gibbs car.
National Hockey Night coming up from Phoenix. There it is, the conclusion of qualifying. Rick Mast is still 42nd fastest, second lap, 48.016. He picked it up, but 187.438. That wraps it up from Daytona. Bobby Labonte has his 13th career pole position. He'll start on the pole Saturday night in the Pepsi 400. For Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, and Bill Weber, I'm Bob Jenkins. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's go to Phoenix and NHL hockey.